Here's a question from email. Good morning, Dr. Farley. I heard your program the other night when you were talking about James and Paul and how they weren't disagreeing. But today I saw somebody online who claims you are talking bad about them just because they disagree with you on James. I don't see you doing that, but wanted to ask you direct. Can we have a more open mind about minor stuff? Well, Christine, thank you for your email. I'm glad you asked that. No, there's absolutely nothing wrong with having all kinds of opinions about Bible verses, and there's nothing wrong with having disagreements about doctrines. It happens all the time in the Christian world. But as far as talking bad about someone, that absolutely did not happen. I think I know what you're referring to. We have people that follow our content. Anytime you're reaching a lot of people, you're going to have those who are following your content, listening to every message, and sometimes they're going to think, "Oh my gosh, is he talking about me?" Well, I think it was maybe 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks ago, I did a sermon on James. And I was talking about a good friend of mine that I've known since 2008 or 2009 in Lubbock, and he now lives on the East Coast. His name is Jerome. And so Jerome and I had this long-standing debate about James, and we're good friends, and I love his mind and his brain. We had all these debates, face-to-face in a coffee shop, on the phone, all that. So I introduced the sermon with a little story about Jerome. I don't mention him by name, but I introduced this sermon with a story about how Jerome and I disagreed about this. And that's the topic for today. Did James disagree with Paul? Blah, blah, blah. And I think that somebody who I've never met, somebody who I've never had a face-to-face conversation with, never had a phone call with, never interacted with at all, and they're not a friend of mine. I think someone interpreted that opening to the sermon as being about them. And then from there, they decided that they were going to, make that true somehow, even though it's not, and started complaining about it. But no, in 25 years, I can't think of a single time that we have ever mentioned anybody by name in a sermon or even alluded to one individual. So I appreciate you asking that, Christine, but it simply didn't happen. And it's unfortunate that it got misinterpreted.